Entire cryptocurrency market takes a massive dump today, but is it all over for Ethereum? In today's episode, we're going to look at the latest Ethereum news, as well as Ethereum on Twitter, and see what has been causing all of this dumpage. We're then going to head over to the Ethereum charts. We're going to look at Ethereum and Bitcoin charts to work out exactly what is happening with Ethereum. Hello guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. I make videos on Ethereum as well as other cryptocurrencies. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in Ethereum. Without further ado then, let's jump into our first piece of news for today. So guys, what has been happening in the markets that has caused this crazy drop to happen today? As you've probably heard, Tesla CEO Elon Musk tweeted that they were no longer going to accept payments in Bitcoin. Now, obviously, this has caused huge uproar, and in the past, we've seen Tesla CEO Elon Musk create a few situations where we've either seen a massive pump or a massive dump. And this is something that I've always been mentioning, not necessarily him particularly, but things that happen that are kind of out of our control that we can't see happening in the charts that cause these huge shifts. And this is why we should never over leverage ourselves, and why we should be aware that when prices are high and when things look too good to be true, they often can be. So I want to bring you over to this comment here from Willy Woo over on Twitter, saying that yesterday Elon Musk was asking the community whether or not that Tesla should accept Dogecoin, which all runs through basically the same network as Bitcoin. Elon Musk came back today and has said that, bearing in mind that he is the CEO of Tesla, which is an electronic car company, that he's concerned about the environment and the environmental impact of Bitcoin, which I'm not going to say is non-existent. I've heard a lot of people saying that Bitcoin doesn't cause any environmental damage. That's not true. It does definitely cause environmental impact. And yeah, you can compare it to other things, but it obviously does have a huge environmental impact. However, this is not news to him. He would have obviously been aware of that for the past few months, as everyone else would, particularly when he got involved in the first place. So this to me is kind of key market manipulation with probably some sort of idea as to why he's doing it and other things that we should consider. Most of the Bitcoin is mined in places like China, where there is a lot of power produced via coal-powered power stations, which is what you can see being mentioned in his tweet. But also, as well, something to consider that at the moment Tesla is having a bit of problems in China with regards to their sort of business operations. And this, to me, might be a bit of a hit back towards China at the way that they're kind of like treating Tesla in his eyes. But I'm not going to bring this into a sort of a politics show, so I'm going to stay well away from that kind of news, but something to consider. But yeah, his kind of, in the past, we've seen him sort of say, oh, the price looks high, and we saw a big dump, and we said, oh, I'm going to buy Bitcoin, and we saw a huge pump, and all these kind of tweets from him. So I feel that he's got a bit of a vested interest, something going on behind the scenes that we're not really sure about. As well as that, we saw Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, who offloaded about $1 billion worth of Shibu coin, which he then used to fund the COVID crisis in India, which is obviously very noble of him. But obviously, when someone sells off a huge amount of cryptocurrency, it causes a big ripple effect in the market. And today we've seen sort of a good $300 billion disappear from the crypto market. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to continue and that it's all over. And we're going to jump into the charts in a minute and see what we're likely to see next. Okay, so bringing you on over to the 30-minute Ethereum chart. I want to sort of draw your attention. Obviously, you're well aware probably the price has been dropping fairly solidly through today. We saw the big drop and then a huge bounce up, showing good buying pressure here. But then again, we've seen more sells drop off. Now, obviously, as I've mentioned in the past, when we get sells happening, it can kind of cause a bit of a snowball effect, and more people are kind of either liquidated. You get a lot of people who are new to the market who aren't really sure what they're investing in and aren't aware of this kind of volatility, and that it's quite commonplace in the cryptocurrency market, and they also tend to sell off, which is why you saw this big dump, and then possibly people sort of out of fear starting to sell off as well. Now, in the past, I've told you that when people are really excited and really bullish, and they're all trying to buy, that's when maybe we should be questioning whether we want to be buying as well, because it does tend to mean that we're due a correction. On the flip side of that, in my opinion, when the market's very fearful, which I'm pretty confident people are very fearful now, and people have that kind of do I sell, I'm going to lose more, that's when actually the big players are starting to look to buy more again. and this adds liquidity to the market. There's a lot of opportunity now for people to buy in, potentially at a discounted rate, particularly if you're looking as a big investor or a big investment firm with perhaps billions of dollars to invest. Okay, so as we can see, we've been falling down through, and we've kind of been falling in this fan pattern. Now, as we can see in the past, when we do tend, obviously this is a slightly sort of obviously this is narrowing wedge. As you can see, it's kind of broadening out, and that doesn't necessarily mean that this is necessarily a bullish pattern, but it's something to consider. We've taken this big drop, and as you can see around here, around the 3,578 level, which previously provided a good level of resistance on the way up. You see we hit once, twice, 3, 4 times before we were finally able to break it and turn it into support. And as you can see, we came down near to this area before, and we've taken this big dump down, we've pressed up against it, and again pushing up against it now. And also, if we were to zoom out a bit further, I want to draw your attention to the daily chart, and as you can see, we came down and we perfectly hit this this moving average here. Now as well, further out, we can see that this pattern which we've been playing out in, it took us a very long time, we were playing out in this big pattern. We haven't come all the way down to retest that, but bear in mind that could be something that might be on the cards. If we can't hold support around this SMA level here, we could potentially take a further dip down towards the 3995 mark, and as you can see in the past, we found good support at this level. Even though there wasn't much resistance on the way through, there's a deal of support that comes through here, and we know that this line has been in play for a very long time, so it wouldn't be outrageous to see that it might come down to here. However, the bottom wicks that we're seeing here show a good deal of buying pressure, and there might have been a lot of people shaken out, but there's also been a lot of people who are maybe a bit more experienced in the market who are looking for opportunities to load up and buy more. So at the moment the price might feel a bit scary because it's come down it came down at its worst around 18%. Actually, in terms of crypto and how much we've seen it move, when we saw Bitcoin shooting up, we did at times see sort of 30% corrections. And I want to draw your attention over back on Twitter to Altcoin Daily, who've put up this picture here showing the last cycle for Bitcoin, and every time there was a good 33% correction, that it did then see these huge booms each time. Okay, so what he's kind of trying to say is that actually, you feel this fear because you've been so sort of amped up and pumped up for the last week where Ethereum's been flying, and suddenly it comes back against us and we all run for the hills because it's designed to make us feel like that. When actually, potentially, in my opinion, obviously go away and do your own research, this isn't necessarily a very bad buying opportunity. There's a lot of positive things about Ethereum that have been driving it this well. All those positive pieces of news and all that positive information about Ethereum, there's still loads of great stuff in play for Ethereum. Obviously, Ethereum upgrade just around the corner. There's lots of people who are wanting to get into this space. So be aware that, market manipulation is going to start happening as more and more big players want to get in, and they want to maybe not pay top dollar for getting in as well. So jumping over to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, we've obviously had this incredible run over the last sort of couple of weeks where we've seen Ethereum growing from around down here around sort of 3.5% all the way up to its high at around 8% just yesterday. We've now seen a bit of a retrace, but actually, going back through and looking at these other candles, we had one here, and then we saw it go from around 4.7% all the way up to 6.1, another sort of smaller correction here, and again from there we went from 5.9 all the way up to 8. I'm not saying necessarily that what's happened previously is going to happen again, but there's always the potential that we're going to see this continued rise. Jumping over to Ethereum then on the sort of 15-minute levels, we've been finding good levels of support here, and again here this sort of higher level, we found previous lines of support here, but obviously that's going to come as resistance. So in my view, that we're going to have to basically break above this sort of level of around $3,730 level, and if we can maintain ourselves above here and move towards this sort of red line, then potentially we might be due to break out of this falling pattern here. If we were to break out, then we might want to see it retrace, confirm this breakout, and then we would potentially move back up to the upside to around the sort of level of the previous all-time high, which is the top of the wedge. Now obviously This is on the 15-minute time frame, and things come down significantly faster than they can go up most of the time. So don't necessarily be looking to go all in my opinion, right now. But once we can kind of see something like this happen, then in my opinion, then that's quite a good buying opportunity. Obviously, never invest more money than you can afford to lose. This is only my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, so go away and check to see what you're happy with yourselves. Just a really quick update today, because I'm sure people are feeling a bit nervous after the result of the last 24 hours or so. But I did want to sort of say that, as we've seen, and as I mentioned in the last couple of videos, when we're feeling like, it's booming, and I made a comment a couple of days ago in a video saying that it was likely to have a bit of a retrace, and many people jumped in and said, why would you sell now? It's far too high, it's going to keep going up. As soon as you start hearing people saying things like that, then that's obviously something to cause us a bit of concern. And yeah, okay, obviously Elon Musk came in with this piece of news and Vitalik news, but actually ultimately we were probably due a correction. We've seen a huge growth in Ethereum, and obviously coming down to around $3,700. Actually, like 2 weeks ago, we were we were just below $3,000. So actually, is it really that bad a thing to be coming down and consolidating here? In fact, I think it's giving us a better opportunity to be able to buy in again. If you've held and you've not sold, then right now, don't sell the bottom of the market. The idea is to sell the top and buy the bottom, okay? But the market makes you feel like this is where you buy and this is where you sell, okay? Which might sound sort of stupid and counterintuitive, but ultimately the emotions always get the better of us. And the more we can manage emotions and we can learn from things like this, every time, one of these sort of events happens through the cycle, people get more and more educated about how they work and use them as opportunities to load up and do more. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please smash up that like button. It really helps me get these videos out to more and more people. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the latest Ethereum news, Ethereum technical analysis. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow on my next video. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.